All right, in the next 5 videos, I'm going to teach you exactly how to sell automation. This is based on hundreds of sales calls and real conversations that I've had with decision makers at 6 to 7, all the way 8-figure companies, most of them twice my age. In case your first time here, my name is Saad. I build sales systems for a living. I've also grown a sales team agency to 139K a month. This is going to be video 1 where we're going to talk about the top 3 mistakes you should never make when you are trying to sell automation. So let's get into it.
Okay, so this is going to be a mini course to help you guys build a sustainable and profitable sales automation or an automation business, okay? And the reason I'm recording this is because I've discovered, well, I shouldn't say discovered, I observed that many beginners and freelancers and entrepreneurs that I talk to every single day really struggle with selling automation, okay? And it's something that I also struggled with when I first got started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how to sell automation from someone who's actually quote unquote made it in the AI and automation space, okay? And to give you guys some context, I was actually talking about this with my good friend Nick Ryab, okay? So I was talking to him and I was like, see, you know, the biggest differentiator between all these content creators that talk about AI and automation, they show you all to how to build these crazy workflows, chatbots, or all of these NA10 or make.com workflows, is that we've actually done it, right? Like the reason why we're actually crushing it is because we've done the thing, right? We've done the thing. We walked the walk before talking the talk, right? Which is really the biggest differentiator between someone who's actually went into the market, got told no several hundred times, and they still kept going and they actually built a profitable automation or sales automation business, and someone who just explains nerdy theoretical concepts that cannot be applied in real life business, okay? Because I'm assuming you're watching this and you're like me, you want to build something profitable, but it's also long-term, right? You don't want to be just doing one-off projects off Upwork or Fiverr and just call it a day. You don't want to be a glorified freelancer, right? So you want to be able to do something long-term because it removes all that anxiety about the future so you can be able to enjoy the present, okay? This is what literally life is, okay? So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the big no's, okay? The biggest mistakes that I see, like I would say 99% of beginners, freelancers, and even like people who have been doing this for a while, right? And these mistakes, the interesting part is that not only in the AI and automation space that you see them, but also in like multi-7-figure companies, right? So even if you have an established business, right, and you stop doing these things, these mistakes that I'm going to mention now, right, you will literally sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of automation. And if you are a beginner and you will implement some of these strategies that I'm going to explain, it will set you apart for life, so you save time and energy. And these are proven methods that I teach my sales reps. I have 20 sales reps in my company. And this is coming from someone who sold sales systems and sales automation for hundreds of businesses, from like the weirdest niches to actual like product market fit, big B2B businesses, okay? And I hopped on a call with people twice my age, okay? And I've still managed to close them, okay? So let's get into this. Mistake number 1, which is selling what businesses don't want, don't need, and can't afford. Now, as silly as this sounds, most people who are trying to sell automation, or most people in the automation space, are trying to sell things that businesses don't want, don't need, and can't afford. Okay? Now let that sink in, okay? And this is a big mistake that I used to do when I first got started, okay? Now, I want you to just pause for a little bit and think about it. Why on earth would you try to sell something that someone just doesn't want, right? Like, why would you want to do that, okay? So in order for you to understand this, I just want to ask you, what's a business? Well, a business, right? A business is basically solving a real problem in the market that people are experiencing and are willing to pay you money for it. Okay? This is literally what business is. Now, let's apply this to automation. It's literally the same thing, right? People think that we're just gonna throw away all the business fundamentals and business concepts just because now we're talking about AI and automation. Well, it's not true, okay? When you want to sell automation, that automation has to solve a big problem in the market. Let's say you are a business, okay? And you want to increase your revenue, increase your sales, okay? Well, how do you do that? Well, obviously it's going to be getting more customers that are willing to pay you, right? And consistently pay you for a long period of time. That way you retain them. Okay. And that's how you increase your revenue. Okay. Now, if someone came to you and said, well, let me just automate your AI proposal. Let me build you a chatbot, like an AI agent that posts in your IG. What would be your answer? Of course, it's going to be no, right? Because it doesn't really impact your revenue. It doesn't really solve the core problem, right? Which is basically getting more customers and increasing your sales. Because if you had more leads than you did before, won't you make more sales than you did before? And if you made more sales than you did before, won't you make more money than you did before? And if you've made more money than you did before, won't you have a better life than you did before? Right? Well, it's the same thing. Most people are trying to sell automation that people don't really care about, okay? And I try to do this myself. I try to sell AI proposal generators with decision makers and 6 to 7 8-figure companies, and they were like looking at me that way. They're like, why would I need that? Like, why would you need that, right? Especially with AI proposals. And this is just a side note, by the way. AI proposals are complete bullshit, okay? Because if there's like 1 0, okay, that gets added to that proposal, you're messed up, okay? So just have like a templated proposal. This is what we do, right? In my agency, we pulled 139K a month, okay, last month. So just keep that in mind, okay? So most people, when they try to sell automation or grow a profitable, successful AI and automation business, they sell this automation from place that comes from here, right? It comes from their hearts, okay? And I love how, I think it was Warren Buffett, and he said, the thing that you love should be your hobby. The thing that the marketplace wants should be your business, okay? So stop selling systems or automation that people don't want, don't need it, can't afford. And here's what to do instead, okay? Let me make this green. Only sell what businesses desire to buy. That's literally it. And what businesses desire? Well, they desire more clients and then more revenue. And how do you do that? Well, it's simply sales systems because it directly impacts the revenue. That way they make money. That way they essentially grow. That way they crush their competition. Because you guys have to understand that people want what they want. Businesses want what they want. You can't just force somebody to like something. I mean, think about it. We all have an iPhone. So for example, here's an iPhone, okay? Now, nobody talked to me about buying this iPhone. I simply wanted it. Now, you two, when you wanted to buy that iPhone, nobody forced you to buy it. You bought it because you wanted. Like Apple didn't knock on your door and say, hey, please buy this iPhone. No, right? This is why we get this icky feeling when people try to sell us things that we don't want, right? You get like weird about it, right? So it's the same thing. Think about it from their point of view, right? They're literally getting icky because you're trying to sell them this AI infrastructure or this AI proposal generator or all this crazy onboarding stuff that they don't really need, okay? Like what they need is simply customers. Can you get us customers? Yes, for sure. So people, well, businesses are ran by people. People want what they want, and what they want solves a problem, a pain that they're experiencing, okay? So this is what you should be selling, okay? I mean, think about it. Like, why would you need 30 pairs of shoes? You only have 2 feet, right? Like, why would you need 30? Because people buy it because it makes them feel good, okay? Why would people like spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on supercars, right? Because it makes them feel good, okay? Why would people buy an iPhone? Well, because when you take a picture, you feel good about yourself because you look good, right? So think about it that way. Okay, so let's talk about the second mistake. So the second mistake is selling features rather than outcomes. And this comes from 2 main core issues, okay? And the first one is emotional attachment. Now, I get it. You spent days, even weeks building this cool automation. Well, guess what now? You are emotionally married to it, okay? You want to show it off like a proud parent. So the problem now is when you're trying to sell it is you pitch the features Okay. So this is a big problem. You say things like, well, it integrates with 5 tools. It pulls an API from an external source. Okay. Nobody talks about this. Okay. Cool story. But the business owner that's sitting there, okay, is like, okay, cool story, but how does that help me? Like, how does that make me more money? How can we increase sales and have more and get more clients with this? Which is a big mistake. You should never talk about the features, okay? You always talk about the outcomes and the payoff that they will get once they implement your solution or your AI or AI automation, whatever you're trying to sell to them, okay? The second thing is ego over empathy. I know you might be wondering, Saad, well, what does that mean? Well, it's actually very, very simple. What it means is essentially people, right, that are in the AI and automation space are trying to sell things that they think it looks cool, right? They think it's cool, not what the market needs. Again, going back to the Warren Buffett quote, the thing that you love should be your hobby, and the thing that the marketplace wants should be your business. And I get where the behavior comes from because I used to do that myself too, like the first 6 months of trying to sell automation. I get it. You want to feel smart. It comes from like a place from here, right? You're like, you want to feel smart. You want to show that business owner that this looks impressive, right? And it is. I'm not denoting the impressiveness, if that's even a word, or like the coolness of your automation, okay? I'm not saying that, but it simply doesn't solve a problem. It just sucks, right? Because business owners don't pay you to stroke your ego. They pay you if you can solve them a problem. Every minute you spend selling a feature is a minute you're not making it clear what problem you are solving, which takes me to the third mistake, which is if you confuse, you lose. And I promise you, if you understand this, it will change your life for the rest of your life and you will actually begin building a sustainable AI and automation business, okay? Or sales automation business, sales systems business, anything really. You should never explain your workflow or system or automation in a way that you understand. You explain it in a way that the decision maker that's on a call that is interested and wants to buy from you, you explain it in a way that they understand. The biggest mistake is that you're trying to sell this system or like automation. It's kind of like explaining it. It's like you're trying to sell it to a team of software engineers. Well, guess what? You're not selling to software engineers. You're selling to founders and decision makers want results. They want problems solved. They don't want tech features. Okay. Now, as you guys know me, I'm a geek when it comes to history books and books about big companies such as Apple, Airbnb, Netflix, Spotify, all of these big companies. Okay. Amazon. And let me give you guys a cool story. See, we all know Steve Jobs, the one who invented the iPhone, basically Apple, right? The Apple company. Now, Steve Jobs, back in the day when he invented the iPod, and on its core, it's an MP3 player because, well, it's an MP3 player. And all these companies were like trying to explain this and like, well, it's a hardware that has a microchip and it has all these features. Guess what Steve Jobs said? It's 1,000 songs in your pocket. See? Now, anyone who loves music or enjoys music, right? That it evoked a feeling into their heart. Like, what's better than 1,000 song in your pocket? Well, maybe it's 1,001 song in your pocket or like 2,000 songs in your pockets, okay? Same. Now, let me give you another like personal experience, okay? So when I used to work as a nightclub bouncer, I used to also work during the day as a gym trainer, okay? I used to be way more jacked back in the day, but I used to work as a gym trainer. And we had like a sales manager, okay? And he would always basically say, when people are trying to buy a membership, you do not want to showcase the equipment, how cool the equipment is, etc. You want to always sell the identity and the outcomes that they're gonna get once they sign up, which is, drum roll, you guessed it, well, it's them feeling good about themselves, feeling healthier, looking better in the mirror, because this is why people go to the gym, because they want to go to the gym to be healthy, but 90% because they want to look good, right? That's just the cold hard truth. Let's not just lie about it, okay? They want to put on muscle, they want to look good, they want to lose weight, they want to feel confident. So this is what you should be selling. And this is applied to AI and automation. You can essentially just take this big core fundamentals and apply them to your AI business, whether you have an established AI business or you're just looking into starting an AI and automation business, this is what you should be doing. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Like I always say, get out there, take action. I believe in you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.